At first glance, the word umami might sound exotic or unfamiliar, perhaps a trend or a culinary buzzword, but in reality, umami is one of the five fundamental tastes, right alongside sweet, sour, salty, and bitter. It's not a flavor you can easily describe, but once you recognize it, you'll start noticing it everywhere, from the rich depth of a well-aged cheese to the comforting savoriness of a bowl of miso soup. The science of umami isn't just about taste. It's about understanding how our bodies perceive amino acids, how our brains interpret flavor, and how we can harness this knowledge to transform the way we cook, eat, and even nourish ourselves. Let's take a step back. The discovery of umami as a distinct taste dates back to 1908, when Japanese chemist Kikunai Ikeda isolated a compound called glutamate from kombu, a type of seaweed. He realized that glutamate was responsible for a taste that didn't fit into the established categories. It wasn't sweet or salty. It wasn't sour or bitter. It was savory, brothy, mouth-filling, delicious in a way that lingered and added depth to food. He named it umami, meaning pleasant, savory taste in Japanese. So what causes this elusive flavor? The answer lies in glutamic acid, an amino acid that occurs naturally in many protein-rich and fermented foods. When glutamate binds to specific umami receptors, T1R1 plus T1R3 on your tongue, it triggers a unique taste signal sent to the brain. But here's where it gets interesting. The umami signal isn't just about detecting protein. It also interacts with the other taste pathways to amplify complexity, enhancing sweetness, reducing bitterness, and extending the overall flavor experience. Even more powerful are synergistic umami compounds, like inosinate, found in meat and fish, and guanylate, found in mushrooms. When these are combined with glutamate, the umami sensation is not just additive, it's exponential. This is why dashi, the Japanese broth made from kombu and bonito flakes, tastes so much richer than the sum of its parts. The umami compounds team up to light up our taste receptors in a deeply satisfying way. You might ask, so where can we find umami in everyday foods? It's all around us. Tomatoes, especially sun-dried or cooked. Aged cheeses like Parmesan. Cured meats like prosciutto or bacon, soy sauce, fish sauce, fermented beans, anchovies, shiitake mushrooms, and even breast milk, which is rich in glutamate, hinting at our natural attraction to umami from birth. Umami also plays a crucial role in culinary tradition across the globe. It's the magic behind slow-cooked stews, roasted meats, long-simmered stocks, and fermented delicacies. Chefs instinctively build umami into their dishes by layering ingredients, adding a dash of soy sauce to a marinade, finishing a pasta with aged cheese, or topping a burger with grilled mushrooms. It's not just about saltiness or richness, it's about creating a sensation of fullness, roundness, and deep satisfaction. But umami has implications beyond taste. It can also be used as a healthful culinary strategy. Because umami enhances flavor, it allows chefs and food manufacturers to reduce sodium, sugar, and fat without compromising taste. A broth with a touch of kombu or miso can taste just as satisfying as a heavily salted soup, but with far fewer unhealthy additives. This is why food scientists are exploring umami as a tool in public health nutrition, especially for aging populations or those with dietary restrictions. And as neuroscience and gastroenterology dig deeper, we're learning that umami doesn't just stop at the tongue. It activates gut receptors and stimulates digestion, promoting satiety and nutrient absorption. Our bodies are wired to crave umami not just for pleasure, but because it signals the presence of valuable amino acids and proteins essential for growth, repair, and energy. So how do you harness umami in your own kitchen? Roast, dry, or ferment foods to concentrate glutamates. Pair glutamate-rich foods with ingredients high in nucleotides, like combining mushrooms and meat, or miso and seafood. Build layers of umami using base stocks, soy sauce, tomato paste, aged cheeses, or even nutritional yeast. Experiment with global umami powerhouses like gochujang, marmite, or Thai shrimp paste. And always ask yourself, what could add depth to this dish? What could make the flavor linger just a little longer. Ultimately, the science of umami invites us to move beyond the basic salt, fat, sugar model of flavor and to explore a deeper, more satisfying dimension of taste. It's the anchor of umami that makes food comforting, crave-worthy, and complete, a quiet but powerful signal that what we're eating is not just delicious, but also deeply nourishing. In mastering umami, we don't just unlock better recipes, we tap into the evolutionary wisdom of taste itself. Umami, recognized as the fifth basic taste after sweet, sour, salty, and bitter, refers to a savory, mouth-filling flavor primarily triggered by the amino acid glutamate and certain nucleotides like inosinate and guanylate. It evokes a deep sense of satisfaction and completeness in food, often described as meaty or brothy, and the paradox of umami lies in how this subtle, often background flavor profoundly transforms the perception of food, enhancing complexity and satiety without overt saltiness or sweetness. Monosodium glutamate, MSG, a purified umami compound, when added in small amounts, can make a vegetable broth taste richer and more satisfying without adding meat or fat, much like adding a bass line to a melody. Suddenly, the whole song becomes fuller and more resonant, even though the tune hasn't changed. The umami taste is detected by specific G protein-coupled receptors on the tongue, mainly the T1R1/T1R3 heterodimer, which binds glutamate and certain ribonucleotides synergistically, signaling to the brain that the food contains protein or nucleic acids and marking it as nutritious and desirable. Unlike the other four tastes, umami operates most powerfully through synergy, where two compounds together, such as glutamate and inosinate, amplify the taste response beyond what either can achieve alone. For instance, in Japanese dashi broth, kombu, rich in glutamate, and bonito flakes, rich in inosinate, create a dramatically stronger umami flavor when combined than either ingredient alone, much like mixing blue and yellow to get green. A new, more vivid sensation emerges only when both parts come together. Umami enhancement in food relies on chemical synergy, slow flavor release, and interactions with fat and aroma molecules, as compounds like glutamate bind with nucleotides to intensify the response, while their interaction with fats further boosts mouthfeel and lingering taste. The delivery of umami is also dependent on cooking techniques such as aging, fermenting, roasting, or simmering, which liberate amino acids and nucleotides from proteins. Aged cheeses, soy sauce, and cured meats all develop deep umami flavor due to enzymatic breakdown of proteins during maturation, much like unlocking treasure chests during a quest. Each culinary process breaks open new sources of flavor hidden inside the ingredients. Umami illustrates principles of emergence and multisensory integration in both neuroscience and gastronomy, as it is not experienced in isolation but in interplay with smell, texture, temperature, and expectation. The brain constructs the overall flavor experience, with umami acting as a keystone that makes other flavors taste deeper, rounder, or more complete. A tomato and Parmesan cheese pairing, for example, delivers a high umami experience due to the synergistic interaction of glutamate and nucleotides during digestion, much like putting a frame around a painting. Suddenly, the image appears finished, focused, and ready to be appreciated. Umami is more than just a flavor. It is a biological signal indicating that food contains essential amino acids and protein building blocks. Linked to nutrient sensing, the perception of umami helps the body predict the caloric and anabolic value of food, contributing to feelings of satiety and pleasure while influencing metabolism, appetite regulation, and eating behavior. Studies have shown that umami-rich soups can increase satisfaction and reduce overall caloric intake by enhancing the perceived richness of a meal, much like getting a gentle whisper from your food, "This is good for you, no need to keep searching." From an information theory perspective, umami reduces flavor entropy, the perceived randomness or flatness of a meal, by enhancing coherence and unifying disparate ingredients into a harmonious whole, with the brain processing umami-rich foods more efficiently and attributing them higher reward value, which creates stronger memory traces and learned preferences. In a stew, for instance, umami helps bind together the flavors of vegetables, broth, and meat so that they taste integrated rather than disjointed, much like turning a collection of puzzle pieces into a complete picture where the pattern connecting them is finally revealed. By enhancing flavor perception, umami has profound implications for healthier diets, culinary creativity, and synthetic flavor systems. It allows for the reduction of salt and fat without compromising satisfaction. As chefs use umami principles to build complex flavor profiles while AI-driven food design models optimize plant-based meats, nutritional supplements, and customized diets, umami enhancers are employed in low-sodium food products to maintain palatability and reduce health risks associated with high salt intake, much like using architectural tricks to make a tiny room feel grand, stretching the perceived richness of simple ingredients. Despite its many benefits, umami faces challenges in public perception, with long-standing skepticism around additives such as monosodium glutamate, MSG, and overuse or poor integration can lead to flavor monotony or excessive richness that dulls taste sensitivity over time. Balancing umami with acidity, bitterness, and texture is crucial to avoid sensory fatigue and maintain a dynamic eating experience. In some processed foods, an over-reliance on MSG can create one-dimensional, flat flavor profiles that, while initially satisfying, become cloying, much like using too much shadow in a painting, where what was once dramatic becomes muddy and unclear. Future research on umami will delve into neurogastronomy, personalized nutrition, and cross-cultural culinary translation, with synthetic biology potentially engineering new umami compounds and neuroscience mapping how umami integrates with reward systems. Understanding and harnessing umami can pave the way for more sustainable food systems, enjoyable low-calorie diets, and human-machine collaborations in taste design. For instance, AI-assisted chefs are being trained on umami-rich flavor pairings to create plant-based meat alternatives that satisfy meat eaters without animal products, much like giving a robot a taste bud upgrade. Teaching machines how to cook with soul,